Catch Nassau Lions men's and women's basketball action live on Saturday afternoon at 1. Come on, let's go Lions.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
Wake up with the Nassau Morning Madhouse, the 2023 Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Best Morning Show, and nominated again in 2024.
Available on the free WHPC app.
WHPC HD Garden City.
90.3 WHPC.
Please open the door.
90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Welcome to another edition of From the Press Box, here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Rob Leonard, and joining me is my brother and my co-host, Timothy J. Leonard, award-winning sports writer.
Good morning, brother.
Hello, brother. How you doing? Did you watch any of the Grammys last night?
Oh, I watched all of it.
This is a song Billy Joel did.
I was locked in on the Grammys. Actually, this is one of two songs Billy Joel did.
That's true. He did.
Because I watched until the end.
He did a cut-down version of "You May Be Right."
At the end.
Yeah. He skipped a verse, I think. At least one.
The best part about the Grammys for me, Joni Mitchell. She was unbelievable.
Really? I didn't see Joni.
Unbelievable.
I'm not a fan of hers. I like some of her music. I'm not a fan of hers. But I'm glad she showed up. They said it was the first time she ever performed there.
At the Grammys, yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked by that.
And Tracy Chapman, also phenomenal.
That didn't bother me either. I'm not a fan of hers.
Come on, brother. There's more bands out there than the Beatles.
I know that, brother. By the way, I was in Newsday on Sunday, brother.
I heard.
My quotes, two quotes that I gave Rafer Guzman, who wrote an article about the Beatles and Gen Z. And, of course, they had to list all the things that are available for streaming. Because
And you were the crotchety old man being heard from in the article?
No, I was quoted as saying, and I forgot I said this, that it's now Gen Z's turn to discover the Beatles.
Ah.
And then there was a second quote, which I don't remember saying.
Very forward-looking, brother.
Yes, because, Gen Z and me, we hang out all the time.
If the listeners could see me, they would see I got my fingers crossed because you're so tight.
Yeah.
You and Gen Z.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it was nice. You were there when I did the interview. It was on the phone. We were eating a fast food place, and I called back, and you can hear him typing away.
Yeah, banging away. That's how you do notes.
But he used two quotes. At least
how many do you want to use?
I want to use like 5 or 6.
How many people were quoted in the article?
A bunch. All the kids.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's why he's only using. You're lucky you got 2.
I wanted a picture of me in there either. I never asked for one.
So ridiculous. What an ego.
Why not? Well, at least they listed the show, and they listed, that's on WHPC, and it's part of Nassau Community College. I don't know if he said, I think he said Fridays. I'm not sure he gave the time.
Let's hope so.
I hope so. Anyway, brother, big news. This led off after the Grammys on Channel 2. This was literally the lead-off story for CBS 2. They had Maurice Dubois.
It's a massive story.
And Christine Johnson, who I love Christine Johnson.
We know.
Oh, God.
We know.
Ooh.
And Otis Livingston.
Who
follows me on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm sure he says, I gotta follow Tim Leonard.
He does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You and him and Bill Ritter are coming over next week, right?
Absolutely.
Anyway, it has been announced, brother. This is a pretty big thing, actually, I guess.
Huge.
The final for the 2026 World Cup, which is in 2 years, will be held at MetLife Stadium. Hard to believe, man.
That's big.
The final.
Championship game.
Yep.
It's the one for all the marbles. So it's a great thing for the area. And I'm not going to say New York because obviously MetLife Stadium is in New Jersey.
Yeah, but everyone was like, I saw Mayor Adams saying, well, it's going to be great for New York.
Of course.
Because everyone's going to stay in the city. And then they're going to take a bus or a limo over to...
Yes.
Because there's not a lot of hotels, and you would know better because you worked in New Jersey around the place.
The team, I could see the teams staying in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Only for a traffic situation.
Because it's crazy. We know just from going to Giants,
and they might even put them like in central Jersey so that they're driving north to get to the stadium, as opposed to putting them in Manhattan and having to get through the tunnel. Unless, I mean, there certainly could be a police shutdown of the tunnel just to let the buses get through with the teams and everybody.
Yep.
You know, all of
that's something that's I can see that happening.
It certainly is something that could happen. So, you know, who knows? It's still 2.5 years away. It's the final will take place, like you said, at MetLife Stadium. In July.
Well, you know what gets me, brother? This is not a United States of America hosting the World Cup. That
is correct.
Basically North America.
Yes.
Because it's going to be some stuff in Mexico and some games in Canada.
Correct.
So that's kind of weird, too, because, you know, the fly from, let's say, Los Angeles to New York is, 6 hours.
Flight, yes, the flight.
Yeah, it's not like they're driving down the street.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. This World Cup actually will start. The first game will be in Mexico.
Right.
So then, most of the games will be in the United States. There's 104 games. 78 of them will be played in the United States.
Okay, that's not so bad.
So, and I'll tell you who might be the happiest guy or one of the happiest people about this is the United States coach. And we still have really it's not a sure thing that Greg Berhalter will be the coach when this World Cup comes around. He likely will be because it would be kind of stupid to replace him now. But obviously there has been some drama with him and some players.
Well, why would you replace him now? Why would you wait?
Well, I mean, I thought they were going to replace him a year or so ago.
Right.
Like not long after the last World Cup, there was the drama with him and with Claudio Reyna and Danielle Egan, who were the parents of Gio Reyna. And they made some accusations about why their son hadn't played. It was all very high school, youth soccer, that kind of stuff where parents are angry that their son isn't playing. Except this is the U.S. national team. We're supposed to be above this kind of petty crap. But
we're not.
The stuff came out, and yes, there was something that happened decades ago with Greg Berhalter where apparently, like I think he kicked the woman who became his wife. It was some kind of college thing, or it was such a juvenile, stupid thing that he did. Probably, I don't even want to say probably, but it was something that happened more than half a life ago. And they brought it up to try to embarrass Berhalter because they felt their son had been embarrassed by him because he didn't play him. And there were reasons that Gio Reyna didn't play, and they all had to do with his attitude and the fact that he wasn't working as hard as his teammates, and his teammates had called him out on it too. So it wasn't just Greg Berhalter that did this, but that's what happened. But what I was getting to, Berhalter is from Tenafly, New Jersey, which is literally 10 minutes, 15 at the most from MetLife Stadium.
Sure.
So he grew up, as they say, in the shadows of the stadium. So he, to say the least, is very excited about having the final. Not that the United States is going to be in the final, but
no, not even.
I mean, we'd love to see it, but yeah, I mean,
they're not the women's team.
Well, the women's team isn't the women's team anymore.
That's true.
But as much as we'd love to see it, and hell, I'll take at this point, I would take getting even past the round of 16. We get to the quarterfinals, that would be outstanding.
I'll take it.
I mean, the last time the World Cup was in the United States, the U.S. wound up advancing, which was a miracle by itself. But then we wound up playing Brazil, and wound up losing to Brazil, and Brazil actually wound up winning the World Cup that year. But it's exciting news. It's something that when you look at what's going on, and especially like you said with this World Cup, it's crazier than some of the other ones. There's been World Cups that have been held in two countries before, but now we're in a situation where, like you said, it's North America. It's not even a country; it's a continent that's hosting.
Yeah, but part of it has to do is with the TV money. It's all about the TV money.
Of course,
that's why it's most of the games in the United States. Mexico's probably a better place. They're crazier about soccer than combined the United States and Canada.
Of course.
But, if you're in Mexico, then you're going to be 3 hours behind. And, Eastern time is the perfect. The networks are already lining up to get the rights. Or maybe they already have the rights. I don't know. But they want Eastern time. They want the Olympics Eastern time in the United States. It doesn't always happen, obviously.
Right.
Most of the time it actually doesn't. But that's what they want. They want it live. It's going to be a great thing, actually. It's that the final is going to be at MetLife Stadium. And I read that the stadium can't be called MetLife.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's going on here. They're calling it
New York, New Jersey.
New York, New Jersey Stadium or something like that. Yeah. And people were already making fun of that even yesterday. But apparently that's FIFA's way of saying, well, all right, you don't have a sponsorship deal with us, so we're not calling it MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
So we're just going to call it. And for the next 2.5 years, unless MetLife gives them money, they're just going to call it New York, New Jersey Stadium.
Right, that's what they'll call it. But I mean,
which is
everyone around here, and
yeah.
I assume when they get on television, they'll say MetLife Stadium.
Maybe
we're here at MetLife Stadium.
I don't know. If FIFA, it depends on who's paying the freight here, brother. If FIFA's paying the bills, then they're not going to call it. They're not going to call it MetLife Stadium. Well, I mean, let's face. How many people around here still call it Giant Stadium?
I call it Giant Stadium.
So I'm not overly worked up about whatever we're calling the stadium. Call it big building where to kick a ball. I don't care. But that what we have here is, first of all, just to let people know, July 19th is the day of the final. This World Cup is going to go 5 weeks. June 11th is the first game in Mexico City, and it'll go July 19th is the last game. 78 of 104 games will be held in the United States, and Canada and Mexico each are getting 13 games.
Okay.
The MetLife Stadium actually was up against Jerry World, in Dallas, which is otherwise known as AT&T Stadium. They're probably FIFA's probably calling it the Dallas Stadium. Who knows? But the two problems with Jerry World, attendance-wise, it was better because that place seats about 100,000. I forget the exact number, but Jerry, of course, built it huge because he figured every butt and every seat was money in his pocket.
That's right. Plus, they do have a lot of standing room there.
Yes, which was kind of dangerous when they had the Super Bowl there.
Yeah, well.
And also a lot of the so-called standing room seats or whatever, and they built temporary bleachers also. People had tickets and there was no seat for them and there was no space for them, so they handled it badly.
I didn't know.
Although Giant Stadium apparently didn't get such good reviews when the Super Bowl was held here. But
that was MetLife Stadium.
Well, same thing.
So. Personally, I'm not a big fan of MetLife Stadium. I thought Giant Stadium was a fantastic stadium. The way they built it.
It was all right.
No, I'll tell you what was great about it, which, we've been there. If you wanted to go to the third level, you just got on the escalator and you went to the third level. You didn't have to keep going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, which,
And up.
And up. Or if you want to go to the second level, you just go to the second level. Now, when you leave, you had to go down the circly things.
Right.
But just to go up to the third escalator, let's say, that was great.
Wow.
Because the escalator's inside, it's like going in Macy's. You go up and then you have to walk around and then go up again.
One level and it's
horrible.
You like the giant escalator, brother, but those things can be a problem because if the giant escalator breaks, now you're totally screwed.
Yeah, but at least you can get there. There's 4 of them, so I mean,
Well, but anyway, just to point this out, Jerry World. The two concerns. One was obviously the time zone because it's going to be an hour early an hour earlier, whatever, which makes it 6 hours from a lot of Europe.
Right,
6 and 7 hours. So New York is the better time zone because it's 5 hours for most of Europe, or 5 or 6. So those people, I don't know what time they're going to have the final, what time it'll be played.
What day? Is it a Sunday?
I assume so. Check. It's July 19th. So check. I don't know. Check on the computer. I'm assuming it's a Sunday. What else? What else? What other day would it be? But the other issue is they were concerned about whether or not Dallas, especially in the summer, would be able to have a full grass field at Jerry World and have the grass survive through a month's worth of games and be playable for the final. And that was one of the main concerns with MetLife Stadium. That won't be a problem. or it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, yes, it's going to be hot here. I mean, it's always, it's going to be July. It's going to be 90 degrees. But I think they also thought that weather-wise, that they had a chance for better weather in New York, even though obviously there's no roof on MetLife Stadium. So if it rains that day, the players are going to be playing in the rain. So that was an issue against MetLife Stadium, because obviously they would love to have a dome and have it be climate controlled. But there's no, as far as I know, there's no dome in the United States that seats 100,000 people.
No.
That would be the ideal stadium for FIFA.
July 19th is a Sunday,
Yeah,
so this is going to be a 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon game.
I was going to say probably 4 o'clock, and that would be 9 o'clock in Europe. So, or most of Europe anyway, and I mean they might even play a little bit earlier, and again that would factor in. Do you really want to play on July 19th in Dallas at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Let's say
no.
It'll be 105 degrees.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have players cramping up all over the place. If not, I mean, I don't think anybody would pass out. These guys are in incredible shape, but they would be cramping up. Players by the 70th or 80th minute, you'd have players going down. Every time the ball went out of bounds, somebody would be going down, and you'd have to be grabbing somebody's feet to try to stretch his calf out.
This is why I love unlimited substitution, which soccer will not
It doesn't
pick
matter,
up.
brother. If you're dehydrated, you're dehydrated.
Yeah, but at least
unlimited substitution doesn't matter.
You can come out and get some water and go back in.
That's what halftime is for.
Yeah. Anyway,
Have an orange.
Right. So anyway, but I think MetLife Stadium is going to do what they did the last time. They had squares of green, and they're just going to link them together.
Well, that's how they build the field,
Yeah.
but you can't just slap that stuff down 48 hours before. I mean, it needs the chance to
Connect.
take root,
Right.
and it needs to become one piece of grass as opposed to 280 or
And
whatever.
there's nothing at MetLife Stadium in the summertime, so I mean the soccer teams in New York play somewhere else.
You can bet that the last concert in the summer in 2026
Be in
at
June.
MetLife Stadium will probably be at May.
Maybe.
I don't think they're going to take any chances with any of this. Dallas winds up getting a semifinal, and the other semifinal will be in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The quarterfinals will be in Los Angeles, Boston, Kansas City. That's a little bit of a surprise to me, and Miami. Which talk about another. Why are you having a game in Miami in July? Oh my God!
Because they know every game's going to sell in the United States, but
Of course.
but Miami might be.
It's a huge soccer market,
Right.
but it's going to be 105 degrees. I'm talking weather. I'm not talking fans.
I don't know if it'll be 105, but
It's going to be hot.
But anyway, so Southern California, that's going to be at the wherever the Chargers Rams play.
Right. So SoFi Stadium. I was trying to get away from all the names of these places because nobody knows where these stay. If I say like Hard Rock Stadium, nobody knows. Just say Miami, because all of these sponsorships, nobody knows where the stadium is. It used to be Three River Stadium. You knew where that was.
Yeah.
Now I don't even know what Pittsburgh Stadium is called, and I, to be honest, I really don't care.
I don't either.
But
especially when they change. Remember, it used to be Enron Field in
Right.
Houston,
Yeah.
and then Enron went out of business.
Yeah, so, and what, the Lakers play in Crypto.com Arena, whatever it is.
Right.
I don't even remember what it used to be, but it was another stupid name. But the negative for New York, New Jersey, metropolitan area fans is that the United States won't be playing anywhere near home.
No.
We got 2 games in Los Angeles in group stage and 1 game in Seattle. So if you want to go see the Americans play, you're going to have to fly across the country. There is the possibility that the Americans could wind up playing on this side of the country, assuming they advance to the round of 16. But for right now, the only 3 games that we know for sure that the Americans are going to play, they're all going to be in the Western time zone.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind. I don't think the Americans get to the quarterfinals, but
Well, I hope they do.
I hope so, but I'm surprised if they do. I remember when the Americans were never in the World Cup.
That was a long time ago.
I know, brother, but we grew up with it.
Yes,
But
but
because
the
we
other
played soccer, and there was like, why aren't the United States in the World Cup?
Yeah.
because they suck.
Well, but the other issue, and this is me as a sports writer talking. If and knowing what I know about FIFA and home countries, if the U.S. does advance, I don't see them going across the country to play their next game. I think their next game would be maybe not the Western time zone, but it would be somewhere that is close, like Kansas City, somewhere like a shorter flight.
I assume Kansas City's Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah, it is.
And they're also going to have to change the AstroTurf.
Yeah, that's all been worked out already.
I'm sure
But
they
would go either Dallas or Kansas City, somewhere in the middle of the country,
so
they're not flying
back
down
and
on a
forth.
plane for 6 or 7 or 8 whatever hours.
Yeah.
and they don't have to deal with the time zone adjustment, which people don't understand how difficult that is when you're playing when you have to go across the country and then play a game. It takes a lot out of you. And I know it's like, oh, they're just sitting on a plane. It takes a lot out of you. And I don't think the US Soccer Federation would I'm not going to say that they wouldn't accept it, because they would have to accept it, but I think FIFA wants home countries to do well. And I think that they would give the United States a little bit of a break and say, all right, we're only going to have them fly, like 1,500 miles or 1,000 miles as opposed to 3,000 miles. So anyway, I was thrilled when I heard this yesterday. This was great news. The only question, or one question that still remains, is how much are the tickets going to be, and. You better have some money, or you better start saving up right now.
The finals, yeah,
it's going to be probably like $1,000 a ticket.
We're not going as fans, brother. Because we can't
highly
afford.
Unlikely.
The only way we can get in as media, and I bet you,
the press box should be there.
I bet, brother, that
the press box should be.
We should be
in the
there.
Stadium.
We should be, but I have a feeling even the press is going to be.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be. But they're going to have like a tent outside. That's what I think. I think it's going to be a tent outside with giant screens, and they'll say, "Okay, you guys can watch it here."
There's going to be watch parties in Central Park. I mean, New York City already promised that.
But what I'm talking about for the press.
But yeah, I'm talking about media. I know what you're talking about, but I'm talking about other ways of watching the game.
Because the real stars and there's going to be the international press. They're going to get boxes, press box area.
MetLife Stadium has a huge press box.
Right. If George Vesey was writing, and he would probably get something good. But
I wouldn't be surprised if he's there. But I don't know.
I thought he retired. Did he
Doesn't
say?
matter. It's the World Cup.
But it's George Vesey.
And
He's
George
covered.
Vesey, exactly.
He's covered so many.
Covered like at least the last 8 or whatever.
And we covered him. We've talked to him.
Yes.
8 World Cups. Great book.
So that stadium was built with the idea of hosting the Super Bowl. Yeah. So the press facilities there are enormous.
Sure.
Because when you build a stadium with the idea of we're going to host a Super Bowl, you need massive press.
Right. The only thing they didn't do there, which they originally thought about, was putting a roof on it so they can have the NCAAs. That was what they wanted.
They should have.
They didn't do it.
If they would have done that, then Jerry Jones wouldn't even he would have been playing for second place. Because there would have been no doubt that if with a roof on it, that would be one of the great stadiums in the world, just from a use standpoint.
For use, yeah, but not
in any way is it like it still wouldn't be close to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Of course not, brother.
Which I don't say because I'm a Tottenham fan. It legitimately is recognized as one of the top stadiums in the world.
Okay.
So. But would I put a World Cup final there? I don't know, because probably not, because it holds 60,000. If it was England, it would more than likely go to Wembley. But with a roof, MetLife Stadium, because they would be able to guarantee climate.
Sure.
You'd have 72 degrees.
And get this, brother, July 4th, 2026.
That's another one.
Round of 16 game is being celebrated on, or being played on, our 250th anniversary.
In Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia. So that's that could be imagine if the United States team wants to do something, get to that game.
Well, and if that happens, then cancel everything what I just said about the United States flying across country, because the United States would be in that game.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah, that's what
without a doubt.
Yeah, they're putting him there. That's like Rocky. Rocky fights at the Spectrum.
Stallone would be there. I guarantee you, Stallone would be there.
You would hope. You would hope. So, by the way, Carl Weathers passed. This past
very,
week.
Very sad.
From, of course, he was Chubbs in Happy Gilmore.
Yes, that's his most famous role, of course, brother.
Did I tell you I once saw him?
Now I need to hear it, brother. Come on.
I was visiting Dad in Palm Springs. It was the last time before he went into the hospital.
Right.
And he can't get around very well at that point. This is his
talking
birthday.
About Dad, not Carl Willis.
Yes, this is 2009 in April.
Yes.
So he says, I think there's like a baseball game down at the stadium. And the Palm Springs Power has it's like a -A team. And
was it affiliated or was it independently?
It's independently.
All right. So.
And there'd been a storm like the day before, and it blew over some of the stands. That's how crazy this place was. But there was a softball game.
Kind of like what's going on now in California.
Right. So anyway, the Hollywood All-Stars are there. So Bryan Cranston's there, a guy from Guns N' Roses, Danny Baldwin.
Which guy from Guns N' Roses? Because it wasn't Axl and it wasn't Slash.
No, it was yeah.
It was one of the two other guys from Guns N' Roses.
It might have been Matt Sorum.
I don't know.
But anyway, Danny Baldwin's there.
Of course.
Totally ignoring me.
Massapequa.
Where I'm wearing my Mets shirt. He's talking to some girl. I don't know if he was trying to hit on her.
Of course he was.
But I'm standing next to her watching the game, and I'm wearing my Mets shirt. And you think that Danny would have said, "Hey, you're from New York, so am I."
Something, some kind of recognition for a hometown guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, "Hey, how's Billy doing?" Because I know Billy.
Yes.
And but he never stopped talking. And so I said, okay. And then Carl Weathers was there. And he's like, there's no one was there. No one knew about the game. And he's
good marketing.
He's like, what are we doing here? What are we can't play 9. Well, let's go play 7. Let's get out of here.
Somebody's got to get fired for this. There's like 14 people here.
It reminded me of the character he played in Arrested Development. Remember, he played the cheap version of himself.
Carl Weathers?
Yeah, he played Tobias's acting coach. Tobias, of course, has no talent.
There you go.
But Carl is like, he doesn't finish a part of like a bone, like a chicken, and he goes, you can take the rest of that meat and make a soup out of it. And he goes, you can go back and get a refill on the soda. So anyway, so I see Carl Weathers, and I'm like, So
did you say hello?
No, because they were just chatting away with each other. So I wanted to get their autographs. So I didn't have a pen. I didn't know any of these guys were going to be there. So I go to the library. It's right across the street from the library on Baristo. I come back and everyone's gone except for the Guns N' Roses guy. I was like, that's so big.
They bailed quickly.
They did play. But it was like no one was there. So, that's my Carl Weathers story.
That's why you always walk around with a pen, brother.
I didn't know anyone was going to be there.
Always have a pen in your pocket.
Yeah, I know. But you're the writer. You always
never know why you'll need a pen.
That's true. Anyway, let's talk about. The Super Bowl's coming up next Sunday. Well, this Sunday, I should say.
Yes, this Sunday.
Chiefs against the 49ers. I read that the Chiefs have the Las Vegas Raiders locker room.
Okay.
And of course, the Raiders and the Chiefs are, they hate each other.
Oh, that's right. They are enemies.
Yeah. So
that is a nice.
And they repainted the entrance. It usually had the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
They had to repaint it for the Chiefs.
There's a lot of hate there.
Oh,
there's like Yankees Red Sox kind of hate.
Yeah, it goes back to the AFL.
Yeah, way back.
So anyway, the best part of the whole thing, 516, by the way, 516-572-7440. My favorite thing now.
I want to hear people call in. Let me know who you think is going to win the Super Bowl and why.
Yeah,
that's a quick phone call.
My thing when I'm loving this is that Kelsey and Tiff and Tay-Tay, they are causing
pals with them now.
Oh yeah,
Tay-Tay?
Tay-Tay, man, yeah, Tay-Tay.
That's a Wendy's commercial. Tay-Tay.
That's my nickname for Taylor Swift. Only her friends.
You know what? I was upset last night. She wins the Grammy, and there's no cutaway shot to Travis Kelce.
He wasn't there.
I know, but it would have been a nice reversal.
Yeah, but he was flying into Las Vegas.
I know, but it would have been a nice reversal. I would have loved it if you would have seen him like jumping around, pumping his fist, or maybe doing like his brother and taking his shirt off.
That would be me.
Chugging a beer or something. That would have been awesome. But that go ahead.
So anyway, what I'm loving is that Fox News, all the pundits on there, their heads are about to explode because they're
they don't like
afraid
her.
that Taylor Swift is going to promote Joe Biden to be the president, her choice.
Right,
Which-
but she turned her first Grammy into a public service announcement for the fact that she's having a new album coming out.
Right,
in April.
right, of
I was
course.
horrified by that. By the way.
Why? What not?
Oh, what a terrible! It wasn't even a speech.
So what?
Oh, I have a surprise for you. I got a new album coming out. Yeah, great. Thanks for the award.
Yay!
Come on.
So anyway, so if you watch Fox News, they're like, well, she shouldn't say anything. Don't say. I saw.
They're so scared.
Judge Janine was saying she
Aren't-
shouldn't say anything.
Aren't these the people who've been calling people snowflakes for the last 8 years or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
And now they're petrified of this basically skinny girl.
Yeah, they're afraid that
I mean,
she's going
yes,
to
she's
say.
in her 30s now. I'll call her, but whatever, skinny woman.
Right.
And she scares the hell out of them.
It's frightening, and the thing is, Trump is, he's not really a businessman; he's a TV game show host. So to me, it's the same thing. He's a celebrity. That's why they follow him. It's not because he's rich or anything. We find out he's not as rich as he claims. But anyway, I'm loving the whole thing about they're saying, this is what they're trying to say, that during halftime, or not during halftime, they're afraid that she is gonna wear a T-shirt that says Biden 2024, and then when Kelsey scores, she's gonna open her jacket and it'll say that, and then that'll prove that she's for Biden.
Vegas is a dome, isn't it? So I'm pretty sure it's climate controlled.
Yeah,
so
but
she's not going to have a coat on.
Yeah, but whatever.
Well, maybe she'll have a jacket on.
Anyway,
something fashionable.
So it's kind of funny that they're flipping out, and
it's hysterical.
And then they're talking about, okay, she's coming from Tokyo, and will she be able to fly a plane in? Of course she is. She has a private plane. They say that all the spots for the planes are taken already. Guess what? Someone's going to move their plane for her.
Somebody Taylor Swift will get priority. Believe it. I mean, I still am not 100% sure she'll be there.
No, they've already said, they've already figured it out. As long as she leaves at a certain time and gets on the plane at a certain time and takes off at a certain time, she will arrive with plenty of time.
Then that's going to happen.
Yeah, so
count on it.
Yeah, so
because they were saying, oh yeah, she can just cancel the show, and I'm like, there's going to be 100,000 Japanese people coming to see. She's not going to disrupt that many people's lives.
I thought
just
she
because
might.
she wants to go watch a football game.
If it was a little shorter and longer in distance, where you could change it, maybe. But you got to pay insurance and change the dates and stuff.
Even so, she's not going to do that.
No.
Do you know what the backlash would be if?
Sure.
And I don't care if they're so in love and blah blah blah. No, it's 100,000 people that you're saying, oh hey, I don't care about you so much that I don't care that you have to replan your lives just because one person decides to say no, I'm not doing this.
She's better than that, so she's not going to do that.
That's my point. That's she's going to live up to her obligations and be the professional that she. I'm not even a Taylor Swift fan, but I'll tell you what. I have all the respect in the world for her because after last night and winning 2 more Grammys, she just has more, even more license to print money, which is basically what she's doing.
Yeah, she is. Yesterday was the Pro Bowl game, brother. I know, something that no one cares about. Was it flag football?
Flag football.
Yeah, okay. At least they played it that way. It was a huge amount of points.
Olympic sport, brother.
Yeah. But Eli beat Peyton in the Battle of the Bands.
Younger brother.
Yeah.
Younger brother.
But the more intelligent brother, older brother, is lost. But he gets more commercials.
Doesn't matter.
Eli's very, he's in a commercial with Archie, and they're talking about heart, talking about oatmeal or something.
Yes.
And Peyton gets all the cool commercials,
Cholesterol's cool, brother.
Because the older brother always
make sure your cholesterol's low. That's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, we look forward to the game on Sunday.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother. Very quickly, I might just make a pick in the next 3 minutes because I still have no idea who I think is going to win this game. Because I think the Chiefs' defense, first of all, the Chiefs' defense is what has gotten them to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
And you can talk all you want about Mahomes, and the story for the last day or two has been Patrick Mahomes' chase for being the GOAT. And I'm like, he's so far away from that. You can't just say because he's had a good few seasons to start his career that, he's going to Tom Brady. Blah. Tom Brady played more than 20 seasons. Patrick Mahomes hasn't even played 10 yet.
No.
And has he had a great career? Yes, of course he has. He's already won 3 Super Bowls, and you know, he's obviously an elite quarterback who certainly has a chance to be recognized as one of the top quarterbacks of all time. But can we let him play a few years? Can we see if the Chiefs can actually sustain what they have right now? I didn't think the Chiefs were going to get to the Super Bowl this year. I didn't think it was going to happen at all because the receiving core is shaky.
Right.
But the defense, led by our boy Steve Spagnuolo as a defensive coordinator, has been the difference for this team. And we're used to the Kansas City Chiefs being this prolific offense and Mahomes slinging the ball all over the field. That's not what. How many points did Kansas City score in the second half last week against the Baltimore Ravens? 3.
Right.
So that's why the defense was the reason they won that game. They shut down Lamar Jackson, who in a couple of weeks is going to be named the MVP of the NFL, and they're going to have to shut down Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, who probably is going to finish second in the MVP voting. This is a high-powered San Francisco offense. For the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game, the defense is going to have to do what they've been doing all season. Now, make no mistake, Patrick Mahomes will have something to say about the result of this game. Sure, he's not going to be a bit player. And chances are, if the Chiefs win, he's going to get the MVP because that's just how it goes these days. It's evolved into if your team wins, the quarterback gets the MVP.
Right, even if he doesn't deserve it.
Exactly. But the Chiefs, like I said, the Chiefs have had more drops than any team in the NFL this season because their receivers are just okay. And Kelsey will be there and he'll be involved. Rashee Rice has emerged in recent weeks, months, whatever. What's his name? Isaiah Pacheco, the running back from Rutgers. They sprinkle that in a little bit. If the Chiefs can run the ball, they're going to win. That I'll tell you right now. But I'm not sure that they're going to be able to run against San Francisco. San Francisco's defense is also very good. Mahomes is going to have to get rid of the ball quickly because they have a very good front line. I'm not 100% sure. I can't even say who I think is going to win this game.
Kansas City 24-17.
I think.
How's that, brother?
Well, let's put it this way. About a month ago, first of all, I said it was going to be the 49ers and the Chiefs. Or who did I say it was going to be? I thought it was going to be the 49ers and the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And when I said that, I said I thought the 49ers were going to win. Now, I still think the Ravens are a superior team to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs obviously proved it on the field. I got to go with the 49ers. But I think it's going to be a close game. And I'm thinking more along the lines of like 24-21 or something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe 21-20.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a close game. It wouldn't surprise me if it's down to the final seconds, field goal, and whether or not the field goal is good or it's wide right, as we've maybe seen once or twice.
Right.
But
okay.
I think it's going to be an exciting game.
We're going to take a break right now. Give us a call, 516-572-7440. You're listening to 90.3 WHPC from the Press Box. Hi, I'm Rob Leonard, host of Beatle Songs, Friday nights at 8 p.m. here on the voice of Nassau Community College. And this show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by the Fest for Beatle fans, celebrating their 50th anniversary at the TWA Hotel at JFK, the weekend of February 9th through the 11th. The fest includes special guests Mickey Dolenz, Billy J. Kramer, Jenny Boyd, Frida Kelly, among others, plus live music by Liverpool, The Weaklings, and a lot more. Plus a Beatles marketplace, signing sessions, a Beatles museum, and the Apple Jam stage. Information and tickets for the Fest for Beatle fans February 9th through the 11th are available at thefest.com. That's thefest.com.
Okay.
Yo.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
Check it out.
I was moving chairs and tables and stuff.
Oof.
And I fell on my back.
Ouch. That is like the
That's a
Life
football
Alert
injury.
commercial.
What? Did you just call her old?
I'm not saying that. You see how he threw me under the bus like that? I ain't saying nothing like that. This man just threw mad
Sebastian,
words
it's
in my
not
head.
even like that. I'm just saying that Life Alert is typically associated with old people.
No,
Yeah.
Life Alert is...
I'm falling and I can't
get up.
It's people who need that accessibility help. Like, I have an aunt who's not too old who has Life Alert around her neck, just in case.
She not too old?
She's not too old. What's you know what I mean? Let's not put that out there. You know what I mean? She's very young.
Shout out to your aunt, man.
Shout out to Life Alert.
The Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
This sounds like, brother, beginning of a Barry Manilow song, which is based on Could This Be Magic? But it starts with some classical piece. And he changed like 2 chords.
I'll take your word for it.
New music from Billy Joel, Turn the Lights Back On. Played it at the Grammys last night. But you know what he did? He made it sound like Now and Then, the Beatles song, because they had a whole quartet thing there.
I was going to say it sounded kind of dour also.
Yeah, so
What is it with these bands coming out with this like dour music?
it's a piano thing. It sounds like a demo, and then they keep it.
Well, I got to be honest. I didn't like the story about the guy who seemed kind of a stalker going around to Billy Joel and trying to convince him to do more music.
Well,
And he said it took him 2 years. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
well-
like, come on.
Well, brother, if you ever heard my show for the last 30 years, I've been saying that Billy was a chicken not to make music anymore. So
That's why he did it, brother.
he did. He heard me.
Must have been responding.
He finally
Responding
heard
to
me.
Beatles songs.
No, it's a free-for-all.
Oh, free-for-all.
Anyway, your WHPC weather forecast powered by Pantano's Gourmet with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. This afternoon, it's going to be sunny and clear, high about 42. Tonight, it's going to be clear again, high about 30. Currently, outside the studios here at Nassau Community College, it's 38 degrees. My name is Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. This is From the Press Box. This show becomes a podcast after 10 o'clock if you want to hear it again, or maybe you only heard part of it. Anyway, quickly, brother, Richard Castor, who was one of the people that Joe Namath would throw to for a while.
One of Joe Namath's favorite targets.
Yeah, he was a tight end. He has died at the age of 75. 13-year NFL career. He was a second-round pick for the Jets in 70 out of Jackson State. His 4,434 yards in receiving ranks 10th on the franchise career list. And, of course, back then they had 14 games. Now they have 17. So.
Three-time All-Pro.
Yep.
And you know what? I found this out when I was doing a little research last night. His son is a professional wrestler.
Which was he go by?
With All Elite. I don't know his name. Just Max Caster. I don't know if he's got a name or anything. They just kind of threw that in there at the end of the obit. Was his son is a signed professional wrestler with All? I think it's called All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
I know it's AEW because that's the one
That's
that
on TNT.
that's the one that they have over at Billie Jean King Stadium after the U.S. Open. So, yeah, no cause of death. It just says Castor died in his sleep Friday morning in Long Island. It didn't even say where in Long Island.
Yeah.
After a long illness.
Yeah, he was one of
sad
those
news.
guys. You know, he was. You know, it's too bad that Namath was not healthy during the first few years of his career because he could catch it, and Namath did like to throw it to him. So, it's unfortunate. Let's talk about the Knicks, brother. The Knicks, my oh my, they 9 in a row before they lost to the Lakers on Saturday.
I don't know how they lost to the Lakers.
And
this is a team that, like you said, 9-game winning streak.
Yep.
And the Lakers, let's face it, they're mediocre. They're a 500 team.
But LeBron's on there, man. LeBron's on there.
So what? They're still 500. And they come into the Garden. This was a game in New York. The Knicks are winning going into the fourth quarter, and then they just completely fell apart. They didn't score for almost 7 minutes in the fourth quarter.
That's horrible. Now look at this, brother. In the Eastern Conference,
What am I looking?
I'm looking at the standings right now. The Knicks are in fourth place. They are 6 games out of first. Cleveland Cavaliers 5.5. The Bucks are 5. the Knicks could be in second place by next week.
I wouldn't be surprised if they are, and I'll tell you why, brother. Because Joel Embiid is having knee surgery because he tore a ligament. They don't know if he's coming back this season. Without Joel Embiid, the 76ers are pretty much an ordinary team.
Yep.
He was the MVP last year. He is 35, 36 points a game. He is at least 10 rebounds a game. He is a presence in the middle defensively. Without him, the 76ers will drop below the Knicks. I can guarantee you that.
Well, they already are.
Well, but I'm saying they're not catching up. And it's been three teams in the East. It's been Boston, the Bucks, and the Sixers. And who is it now? Read the top three teams.
Celtics, Bucks, Cavs.
Ooh, the Cavs. Huh?
Yeah, Cavs.
Where did they come from?
They're third.
Cavs without LeBron.
Yep.
Interesting. It's a good young cast that they have, but I think the Knicks will finish above the Cavs.
Yeah.
But the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell, obviously, and the Cavs were they were a month ago they were thinking about tearing it down. So I don't know what happened or how it happened, but obviously they're playing well. They got in a little altercation the other night because somebody set a pick on Donovan Mitchell and he didn't like it, and he got up and shoved the guy, and all of a sudden it was Gorilla Monsoon and.
Or it could be Dennis Rodman versus Larry Bird.
Well, similar, but pandemonium was breaking loose.
So anyway, the Knicks have been just playing really well.
14-2 in January.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible.
That's a club record for wins in a month. Jalen Brunson, who I'm happy for Jalen Brunson. He was named a reserve to the Eastern Conference All-Star team. I gotta say, to me, he very well could be the starter. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he's better than Tyrese Halliburton, because Tyrese Halliburton's having a hell of a year. But Tyrese Halliburton also has missed about a dozen games. So if you're the kind of person who factors that in, then Brunson should be the starter. But certainly he is deserving of a spot on the All-Star team. And Julius Randle also will be a reserve for the Eastern Conference in the All-Star game. Great stuff for the Knicks. Yeah. And it's a reflection of how well they're playing this year. Because the same argument was made last year when Randall was named as a reserve on the All-Star team. And people were saying, well, what about Brunson? He's having a phenomenal year. Well, now, because the Knicks are better, and because they've won, then they went 14-2 in January, and they're showing, hey, we're a legitimate team, and I don't know that we're going to contend for a title, but we're going to have something to say when the postseason comes. Now, this is the reward you get. And people who vote or who make these decisions can't say, well, Jalen Brunson, we'd love to have you on, but we got to spread it out, or we got to get somebody from this other team because they're playing well. You can't use that as an excuse, because the Knicks are having such an impact on the league. Knicks have been the hottest team in basketball.
Yeah,
and that's not an easy thing to do.
And it's right now, fans are starting to pick up on it, because January is always a slow month. But the fact they went 14-2, the Garden's starting to rock a little more. People are using their tickets that they bought they used to give away.
Because people are going to the games with the expectation of winning.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been something that Knicks fans have been familiar with over the last couple of decades. I'm not talking about a couple of years. I'm talking decades here.
And going back to the Ewing days.
So, this is a team that you can get excited about. And I'm still, I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it until the trade deadline passes. I still think the Knicks have another move left.
They might.
I think it's absolutely, unless they just want to keep the slow build going and wait until a true difference maker becomes available. And I'm going back to Luka Doncic. I'm going to keep going back to him until he signs an extension with the Mavericks or until he gets traded to another team. Because even though Dallas is playing well this season and they're clearly a playoff team and they're a team to be reckoned with out west, I don't until Doncic signs an extension and oh my God, it's going to be worth so much money.
Sure.
It's going to be $55-60 million a year.
Right.
It's whatever the max is, he's going to get
it. I think he signs with the Mavericks only because they have new ownership. even though Mark Cuban's still going to be running the team,
right,
and he'll still have some ownership in there too. I think they don't care. They just want to. It's about having that star player.
The Mavericks need to keep him,
and the Mavericks. There's a lot of the Mavericks. The people who bought the Mavericks don't care about the Mavericks as much as they care about everything that's surrounding. That's gambling. That's shopping centers. That's a new arena, stuff like that. So they need someone like that to be the face of the franchise.
That's what you need. But then the Knicks, as much as Brunson and I guess to a lesser extent Randall are the face of the franchise, they really need a star.
Right.
And I could see Joel Embiid stepping into that. If the 76ers decide to tear it down, the Knicks would be a perfect trading partner.
Oh, yeah.
Because you give Mitchell Robinson and a bunch of those draft picks that they have stocked up, whatever else the 76ers are looking for, and you get Joel Embiid and you put him in the middle of that offense. And I'll tell you what, now somebody like that, the Knicks would be talking about championship.
Right, and we should say on Saturday at the Garden, the St. John Red Storm, even though I prefer to call them the Red Men, they did a tribute to the team that last made the Elite Eight, was it? And Mike, one of the things that team players said, they said, we're not going to show up unless you make sure Mike Jarvis is included in this, and he was. And so it was a big deal for, it's the first time, if you think back, St. John's basketball has been a mess for 20 years.
It's been a mess for a long time.
And
Jarvis is a good guy, though.
Yeah, he was. He got screwed over a little bit.
Yeah.
When he was pushed out. And, Rick Pitino, he's been quietly building a team there. So
he's only been there a few months.
I know, but it's Rick Pitino, brother. He likes to make sure the media knows where he is.
The transfer portal is what it is.
Right.
And I was having this conversation with Suzanne the other day because I was watching St. Louis. Yes, I was watching St. Louis University, her alma mater, and I expected them to be good this year. And St. Louis is the kind of school that, with the transfer portal, they actually get hurt by it. Because if they have good players, like if somebody has a breakout season for St. Louis, chances are he's not staying.
No.
He's gonna wind up going to Kentucky or St. John's or Maryland or whatever and play at a big time, quote unquote, big time school.
Right.
Instead of staying at St. Louis. So right now St. Louis is like 1-8 in the conference. They're about 8-13 overall.
Well, that's part when you start focusing on the rights of the players. They can switch, that they can get a certain amount of money or whatever.
It's nice and all, but if you're in one of those like mid-major type schools and you're trying to build a program and somebody winds up like a freshman or a sophomore, or let's say a sophomore averages like 14, 15 points a game, well, all of a sudden he's like,
well, the good part is that maybe some of these players stay for 4 years in college.
No, that's unlikely.
Yeah, I do too, but that's part of the thought I'm thinking. Anyway, brother, the Yankees is their payroll is about $300 million. Is that over the spending limit?
The reason that I put the Yankees in the notes, brother, is I don't know what's going on here. I'm looking at what has been happening. The Yankees picked up Juan Soto. They made so far the only legitimate contract offer for Blake Snell, which was, if I saw it correctly, 5 years for $150 million, which is $30 million a year.
Okay,
which a hell of an offer. It's not a bad offer. Snell is insane. He's 31 years old and he wants 9 years for $270 million, which he's never going to get. Not a chance.
But that's what you do, and you hope to get 5 years at $200 million.
Well, no, I mean that's not going to happen either. The $30 million for Snell is going to be the max that he gets. He's Carlos Rodon. The guy is injured all over the place.
Right.
The only 2 years that he hasn't been hurt are both years that he's won the Cy Young Award. He's got one for Tampa and one for San Diego. So he's like Rodon. He's got to stay healthy. If he doesn't, he's a guy who's going to pitch 110 innings maybe, and you're going to pay $30 million a year for that? No. So, but what's going on with the Yankees? They have all this money already spent, but now the only thing really left for them to do is finish off putting together a bullpen. and they refuse to spend money. I don't know what's going on. Wandy Peralta, who they wanted to bring back, signed a 4-year deal with the Padres, and this is one of the craziest contracts I've ever heard. Apparently, it has an opt-out after every year of the contract.
That's great.
So if Wandy wants to leave at any time, he can, but otherwise he's going to stay in San Diego for the next 4 years, which, let's face it, there's worse places to live in San Diego. Although $4 million a year, he's 4 years for $16 million. That doesn't even buy a good house in San Diego. No. I got news for you. San Diego's an expensive place.
But that's not a lot of money, brother.
No, it's not. That's my point. $4 million a year for a relief pitcher who can handle New York because he already has.
Right.
Keenan Middleton, who they brought in last year at the trade deadline, and who pitched pretty well. He only pitched 15 innings or 14 innings or whatever. Another guy who the Yankees said they had interest in, they wanted to bring him back, signs a 1-year deal with the Cardinals for $6 million.
Right.
For bullpen arms, that's not a lot of money. So I don't know what the Yankees are doing. They wanted this guy Phil Maton from the Astros. Now Maton apparently is about to sign with Tampa Bay Rays. So what are the Yankees doing to put together a bullpen other than sitting on their hands? And it would seem to me that I guess they're going to be using their minor league guys and promoting from within, which I don't have a problem with. But at least tell us what the plan is.
Well, maybe they're just waiting, for spring training to start, and then they make their move.
Everybody's going to be signed.
I know, but that's a good point, brother.
I don't understand it.
Well, the Yankees are not the same team that you used to be interested in. We're going to make the great trade. We're going to get the great free agent. They're not the same team.
I know. I'm the one who's been saying that for years.
Well,
is it Hal Steinbrenner is not George Steiner? But if you're spending $300 million, why all of a sudden are you sitting here saying no to $5 million a year for a pitcher who has proven himself and who can get the job done? That's my issue.
I agree.
All of a sudden. And I hate to use the word when the Yankees are spending $300 million on a payroll already, but all of a sudden they get cheap. And this is the kind of thing, and it's hurt the Dodgers in the past because the Dodgers bullpen has been their Achilles heel. But you see what happens when you don't have a good bullpen. And the Yankees starting rotation isn't so dominant that you can look at them and say, well, the bullpen won't matter because the starters will go 7 plus. No, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Garrett Cole is the only guy who's like that. Right now, the starting rotation, Nestor Cortez is still a question mark because of all the injuries from last season.
Right.
Carlos Rodon, who knows what's going to happen with him. So I'm puzzled by the Yankees' inactivity in the reliever market.
I am and I'm not. I think they're just waiting. We should say, brother, one more thing. The Angelos family has sold the Baltimore Orioles. And
$1.7 billion.
I assume that includes the stadium. Well, the stadium they re-signed a deal. There's something there, but the Angelos family, Kyle Ripken's going to be part of it. They don't say how much he is part of it, but
small. Probably a similar percentage with Jeter and the Marlins.
1%.
A couple.
But at the same time, this is a major thing. This is like the Mets getting rid of the Wilpons
for the Orioles, yeah. And then literally the day after that announcement was made, the Orioles went out and traded for Corbin Burns, who is one of the best starters in baseball.
Right.
He's in the last year of his contract. He's going to be a free agent next season. But they gave away a couple good minor leaguers, picked him up, and that's a huge
and they did, and the Orioles did good last year. So
huge addition for the team that won the division last year.
And we should say the Islanders start the second half of the season tonight. Patrick Waugh still the goalie. Still the coach, I should say. Bro. Islanders in fourth place in the Metropolitan Division, 52 points. Rangers have 63 points. The Devils have 51 points. Right now, the Islanders own fourth place and not near third place. They could go down. Penguins and Devils at 51
Let's mention that Austin Matthews had 2 goals and an assist in the final as Team Matthews defeated Team McDavid 7-4 to win the $1 million check at the NHL All-Star Game, which was slightly more important than the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, it's just slightly. We should say Islanders are in fourth place right now, but I just looked at this. Penguins, Devils, and Capitals are at 51. So the Islanders could slip down to 7th place in
Very
the
tight.
Metropolitan.
Very tight in the Metropolitan.
Blue Jackets
I keep telling you that.
are really low, but that's
the
a whole
Blue
thing.
Jackets are done.
Anyway, brother, let me tell you about FM Punk.
Please do.
Every Thursday at 10 p.m., a radio show dedicated to all different kinds of punk music, including metalcore, hardcore, thrashcore, Ed Newland's core, as well as folk punk and pop punk.
Sharknado core.
Yes, Sharknado. Hosted by Riley Hogan. That's FM Punk every Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on 90.3 WHPC. That just about does it for our show from the Press Box here every Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. Coming up next is one of the greatest disc jockeys I know. His name is Big Ed. Playing the oldies you don't hear on the radio anymore with good gold. So stay tuned. Take care, and bye-bye. Hi, I'm Rob Leonard, host of Beatles Songs, Friday nights at 8 p.m. here on the Voice of Nassau Community College. And this show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by the Fest for Beatle fans, celebrating their 50th anniversary at the TWA Hotel at JFK, the weekend of February 9th through the 11th. The fest includes special guests Mickey Dolenz, Billy J. Kramer, Jenny Boyd, Frida Kelly, among others, plus live music by Liverpool, The Weaklings, and a lot more. Plus a Beatles marketplace, signing sessions, a Beatles museum, and the Apple Jam stage. Information and tickets for the Fest for Beatle fans February 9th through the 11th are available at thefest.com. That's thefest.com.